The Razer phone succeeded in reviving the gaming phone category, and despite being the company's first smartphone, it has influenced others in creating their own versions of gaming phones. But I wouldn't even consider them as one, because the ASUS ROG Phone redefines what a true gaming phone should be, with unique hardware and software features. But here's the question, is ASUS doing enough to justify this a worthy purchase over non-gaming flagships? I spent a week with the ROG Phone as my daily driver, and I have to say in some ways, the ROG Phone is definitely noteworthy. First of all, this is literally the first smartphone that ASUS didn't shamelessly rip off other phone designs, and then it comes down to the gorgeous build quality. You get a solid aluminum frame, 3D curved Gorilla Glass back, and a cooling vent made of nickel. The RGB ROG branding definitely wins my heart over, and there's absolutely no reason not to leave it on, even if it takes to sacrifice a little battery life. Aesthetically, the ROG Phone surprisingly isn't a heavy device, and I can easily reach the entire screen estate single-handedly. The fingerprint scanner has a weird shape and is located slightly off the usual position, which you eventually get used to, but if you don't like it, there's face unlock to get you past the lock screen, and it works well in low light. Unlike the Razer Phone 2, the ROG Phone still offers a headphone jack so that you can save yourselves from dongles. You can also use the included Aeroactive Cooler accessory that allows you to charge the phone and connect headphones in landscape, so that wires don't get in your way as you game. Probably the only hardware feature that ASUS has copied and implemented better is air triggers, which originated from the HTC U11. You can use them to complete certain actions when squeezing the sides, and in games, the top and bottom of the right frame can be configured as the L1 and R1 keys like you do on a gamepad. We shall talk more about my experience with it shortly. Other than that, the ROG Phone is by all means the most powerful Snapdragon 845 device we have ever seen at this point of time. The performance cost of the SoC runs at the maximum 2.96 GHz, and it is supported by 8GB of RAM with either 128GB or 512GB of storage. Unfortunately, you can't expand storage with a micro SD card, so you've got to make up your mind on that when purchasing the device. The phone comes with a 4000 mAh battery with support for Quick Charge 4.0, though ASUS has included a much faster 30W charging adapter that charges the phone from 0 to 60% in 30 minutes, which they're calling it hypercharge. There's no wireless charging despite having a glass back, and I don't see that as a deal breaker. On a side note, the ROG Phone is also the first smartphone to be able to support WiGig, aka 802.11ad Wi-Fi connections, which is primarily intended for lag-free wireless screen mirroring with the optional WiGig display dock. The ROG Phone is the first gaming phone to employ an AMOLED display with a 90Hz refresh rate and 1ms response time. This 6-inch panel supports the DCI-P3 color space with a 1080p resolution and HDR. There's unfortunately no support for Netflix HDR and 5.1 surround sound like you get on the Razer Phone, but it has decent outdoor brightness and no color shifting issues. The dual front-firing speakers will blow you away once you start playing audio on it. It's got impressive bass response and soundstage, which you wouldn't need to connect external speakers if you want to fill a room. Software-wise, the ROG Phone ships with ROG UI based on Android Oreo 8.1. It is essentially a performance-focused version of Zen UI with some additional gaming features made exclusive for the device. The Game Center app is where you get to manage your phone's performance on games and the ROG logo's RGB lighting pattern, while Game Genie gains a new feature to monitor the phone's hardware performance in real time, on top of letting you stream pretty much everything you do on your phone to Twitch and YouTube up to 1080p. There's no need to question the gaming performance of the ROG Phone, and I'm glad that either game developers have optimized their games to run well on it, or ASUS has done something to make games run really good. For instance, I was able to experience Asphalt 9 with 60 frames per second for the very first time, and I have never seen PUBG Mobile run ultra graphics with super smooth frame rates. As for using the air triggers in games, it really depends on one's personal preference. If you're someone who has already gotten used to tapping on your screen, then chances are you might just leave it disabled. Otherwise, if you want quicker access to a feature in the game, it can be a very useful feature. For instance, I was able to kill my enemies faster in PUBG Mobile when mapping the gunshot button to the right trigger. Thermals on the ROG phone is pretty impressive considering that it has a faster clock Snapdragon 845. There were no performance throttling issues and load temperatures hover around 40 to 42 degrees Celsius. As for the Aeroactive Cooler attachment, it doesn't really help reduce system temperatures while gaming, but rather it helps cool down your device after an extensive gameplay session by blowing air to the top part of the phone, which is in fact the hottest area when you are gaming. Camera performance on gaming phones are usually neglected. The ROG phone fortunately has a decent dual camera system, which comprises of a 4-axis optical stabilized 12MP f1.7 dual pixel main sensor and a secondary 8MP 120-degree wide-angle sensor. ASUS has also brought its great camera software to the table with lots of camera modes. Photos taken with the camera is impressive for its class. Though there is still visible noise when shooting in low light and indoors, it is a good camera that you can use to replace your point and shoot on a road trip. 4K video recording also looks great with EIS, and you can shoot up to 60 frames per second if you want to. As for the front 8MP camera, it takes good looking selfies with a reasonably wide field of view. Like I mentioned earlier, I left the RGB lighting on with the color cycle effect during the review period, and it didn't really affect the phone's battery life. Using the phone for an hour of gameplay, casual social media browsing and Netflix streaming, I don't recall needing to ever charge the phone in the middle of the day, and I'll usually be left with around 25 to 30% of juice when I call it a day. The ROG phone also did really well in both cellular and GPS performance, which I never had an issue getting stable 4G connections and GPS signals. If the ROG phone isn't the best gaming phone I've seen to date, I don't know what is. There's hardly anything I can find fault with it apart from its retail price, which we are expecting the 128GB model to retail at 3,499 ringgit and the 512GB model at 3,999 ringgit. That's not including the set of accessories that ASUS has introduced together with the phone. But for what it is capable of, I'm prepared to splurge cash for it just for the superb gaming performance and all-rounder features. Not to forget to mention that cool RGB ROG logo. The ROG phone is a worthy gadget investment that will make smartphone enthusiasts say, "Take my money." So yeah, that concludes my review of the ASUS ROG phone. I really didn't get to spend a lot of time with the phone as it needs to be returned for the launch event. I hope to be able to perform another round of review on its other accessories and find out which one of them is worth investing. So let me know in the comments what you think about the ASUS ROG phone and throw me any questions you may have. If you like this video, share it and give us a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more tech videos. I'll see you soon in the next one.